Your heart won't stop beating loudly in your chest, no matter what you do or where you turn. The train engine is a place where you can be hunted, as is the wilderness. And no matter where you go, the wind seems to always have that high-pitched whistle to it that makes you wonder if a train is coming your way. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. It is me, Amanda. What thing or moment from Choo Choo Charles scared you the most? Pretty much everything scared me, so yeah. Number 10, never safe. That moment when you realize you are never safe from danger in this game. This happened to me while playing when I noticed that while I was looking at the map, my train was still moving. Actually, I asked myself this question right from the beginning of the game. As soon as I was able to go in and out of the map easily, I was like, okay, am I gonna be safe in this map or what? You are not. What this tells us is that time does not stand still in the game for any purpose at any point. So in other words, if you're looking at your map or upgrading your train, the implication is nothing is paused and you're basically never safe. I also noticed this when I was fighting Charles and I was about to die, so I rushed to use my scrap to upgrade my train before I ended up perishing. Adding anything into the health meter, which was what I did in my desperation, is kind of useless, by the way, if you think about it. If you're about to die, your train's health will respawn at 0 anyways, so it's kind of better to use any spare scrap you have on upgrades for your train engine's defense, weapons, or speed if you can. Make the mistake I made and enjoy the terrifying realization that no matter how much scrap you have, even sinking it endlessly into your train's health cannot save you from the inevitable. Instead, you will simply continue to watch on in terror as it depletes almost as rapidly as you replenish it. Charles doesn't pull no punches, that is what we have learned. Charles comes and gives it his all. Choo choo. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Gaming, why not subscribe? Do it, or Choo Choo Charles will come for you. Number 9, the drawing in the chest. There are a lot of little hidden bits of lore in this game that if you really listen in to what the islanders are saying and look around when you explore, you may pick up on and notice. I personally missed one piece myself because the sheer horror of this game had me feeling like I had to run at top speed to do just about everything. Honestly, I feel like I'm gonna miss so much lore every time I play because of that, except for when it comes to talking to people. I'm always really good at listening when I'm talking to people, but I'm not as good at stopping to look at everything because I'm so scared in horror games. What did I miss? The drawing in the chest. This one comes from the quest Lockpick O'Clock, which thank goodness gets you some sweet lockpicking tools, but it also allows you to see, if you happen to look, a drawing. The drawing itself seems to refer to an earlier time when the people of this island had to fight a giant spider. Why do I think it's earlier? Well, they're holding what are those things called? Like javelins almost. I wonder if this might be relevant to the story of what is happening now with Charles, a hybrid giant spider train monster. I wonder. Number 8, map zoom out. So honestly, one of the first things that scared me about this game was the map. That's right, I'm telling the truth. I discovered the map by trying to interact with some other items, and I accidentally clicked the wrong button on my controller at the beginning of the game because I started this game playing a controller, although I will admit keyboard and mouse are clearly the superior choice for this game, to be honest. Even though I usually like to play with my controller, unless I'm playing an MMO of some kind, obviously. I mean, in an MMO RPG, you literally need to use your mouse and keyboard. It's not really optional. But I digress. What happened was, in attempting to interact, I clicked the trigger and then I was swooshed upward into the map. This horrified me and provided the first unintentional jump scare of the game. Though I really think 2-Star Games knew what they were doing with that design choice. They knew. They were like, we're gonna scare so many people with this map. Number 7, Eugene. Honestly, from the beginning of this game, I was scared by many things. Among them, Eugene. Also, a lot of NPCs freak me out in this game. Eugene is your guide when you get to the island. Yet for some reason, he is also instantly one of the creepiest NPCs I have had the pleasure of meeting in a game. He tends to make light of just about everything, including that which he knows will be life or death situations, chuckling at you, the archivist / monster hunter, with his heh heh heh. I guess when the world seems to be coming down around you, burning, everything's on fire, there's a crazy demon sentient train thing, all you can really do is laugh, or just curl up into a ball and give up. So maybe what I find to be pretty creepy about Eugene, his dark humor, his weird turns of phrase, is really just his way of surviving another day. Of course, those who have played Choo Choo Charles will know that whatever impulsive plan Eugene thought up, it doesn't really go according to plan. Now, does it? Number 6. Train sounds. What could be worse than creepy NPCs and random whooshing sounds from maps? Good question. How about just the train engine that you drive itself? Which is so scary. I don't know why. But we're gonna be like, Amanda, you're scared of everything. And I'm gonna be like, I am. I love playing horror games, but I am terrified of everything. The sound that your train engine makes. I literally thought I was initially being followed by Charles himself. He was sneaking up on me when I was playing the first time. I really do not like the sounds that our train engine makes in this game. Makes me worry every second I am on the train. And of course, that is for much of the game. I almost just wish Charles was kind of there all the time. At least when he's there, the sounds of our puttering train engine become more muted in favor of his admittedly creepy but at least more direct theme music. I think what really bothers me about the train sounds is that they're really atmospheric, they're quiet, they're unsuspecting, feel just kinda inconsistent. They just make me go like, what was that? What was that? Every 2 seconds. In a good way though, cause you know, this is a horror game and they do constantly make me feel like something is coming to tear me limb from limb, which I imagine is, you know, what you want in a horror game. So good job, but also, Number 5. Pickle Lady. I mean, I can't do this list without talking about the weirdness that is the Pickle Lady, can I? I both love her and I'm terrified of her at the same time. This woman simply wants some pickles, which seems like a simple request. I understand. Pickles are delicious after all. Although I personally have this weird thing where I can't actually eat them out of a jar. They need to be presented to me without me seeing them come from the jar. This is a true fact. Even though I do acknowledge that the jar is essential to making the pickles, if you give them to me in a jar and say, would you like a pickle out of this jar? I'm gonna say no. But if you take a pickle out of the jar without me seeing that and you bring it to me, I will accept the pickle. So I don't know. Who's the real creep here? Is it me or is it the Pickle Lady? Maybe I am the Pickle Lady. No, I don't think I am because she actually wants the jar. She is fine with pickles being in jars. Me, not so much. Her last jar of pickles, however, is far away and she's hoping you can help her retrieve them. They're up in the pickle cave, locked away in a chest that she lost the key for. I mean, I don't think I really need to say more about this. The whole quest, well, charming in a weird way, is also very strange and very creepy. Also just the Pickle Lady and the way she talks. She also kind of stands like this. What is this? Reminds me of when I'm getting ready to go. Apparently I do this all the time, I've been told. Number 4. Eugene's death. Not even his ability to sprint at breakneck speeds could save Eugene from Charles. I thought I had done something wrong until it was confirmed by chat and later other playthroughs that no matter what, in the beginning of the game, Eugene is basically fated to die. So there's not much that could have been done. I couldn't have saved him. It is what it is. Right off the bat, you arrive on the island and Eugene brings you to a train engine left abandoned after its owner died. The really strange thing is although Eugene was aware that the owner of this train engine died, he is surprised to see the derailleur gun mounted on the back of the engine, as that is something that apparently wasn't there when he last left. Who put it there? And why? Assuming that the train operator was already dead before it was added, is a bit of a mystery. A mystery that still haunts me to this day. Also, how could he have been like, that wasn't there before when I checked it, and then he doesn't have the key to get in? Who locked it and put the key? I guess the same person that put that on the back? I have a lot of questions about this. After some quick practice shooting, which I'll talk more about later as it's also scary in its own way, you and Eugene are off to try and enact his plan, with your help to defeat Charles. However, Charles has other plans. As soon as you crash through the train shed, because who cares about doors, Charles comes choo-chooing along and he attacks you. Although Eugene cheers you on, he's almost immediately killed. In my case, before I could even get a round off, because I was like, what is happening? In the distance, it appears as though Eugene is actually being devoured by Charles as well. So if you look closely, you might get to see that. Great. Number 3. Taking aim. There doesn't seem to be any way for you to take aim in this game, which I think is pretty spooky. I mean, okay, so there's kind of a little bit of crosshairs on the derailleur, but not really. From the moment you get to practice your aim to throughout the rest of the gameplay, the fact that you have no, like, digital crosshairs on your default derailleur gun, or really almost any other weapon in this game, horrifies me. I guess the bonus is when you get the flamethrower bug spray, at least you kind of have some, like, I would say extended area that you can affect because it's fire, at least presumably, because, you know, fire has a tendency to spread. It's not as concentrated as small projectiles tend to be when it comes to its area of effect. Although then again, I'm not sure technically if that's true, as the game doesn't really give us like stats on the range when it comes to like the spread of ammunition and fire. All we know is the range in terms of the distance that we can reach away from us with the ammo, and in terms of the rate of fire, which in essence I guess is another way to sort of say spraying a larger area with ammo, because, you know, if you have a higher fire rate you can get more off in a seconds, so you could splatter a whole area with bullets. Of course, I wouldn't be as worried about being able to spread all of my ammunition if I could be more certain of where specifically I was shooting. In other words, a life without default crosshairs is a horrifyingly uncertain one when going up against a demonic giga spider and sentient train hybrid monster. Now, of course, you do get crosshairs eventually, but you're going to need a real big gun, Bob, to get them. And even then, you still only get crosshairs when using Bob to shoot, as that gun has the crosshairs physically attached to the gun. I wish the rocket launcher had crosshairs. I'm sure they all have like a form of it, but it's really not the same. Like Bob has the best crosshairs by a long shot. Number 2, doing anything for too long. One of the things that I really think is so brilliant about Choo Choo Charles is the sense of urgency that it instills in you when you're playing. You can't leave your train for too long, or you kind of end up worrying about it. I don't know, I get separation anxiety from my train engine. But beyond that, anytime I do anything for an extended period, it immediately feels too long because of just the sound effects around me, the atmosphere in this game. The sound in the game is super creepy, whether it be the eerie background music when exploring, or even just the whistling wind when I'm lingering too long in my map. Either way, the sounds in the game combined with the lingering danger of Charles, who could appear at any minute, are just completely terrifying and make you want to rush through everything and anything you have to do in this game. From upgrading the train, to running out to grab some scrap, completing missions, and even when it comes to just looking at the map. If I look at the map for too long, I'm like, okay, let's stop looking at the map. Let's go do something. Number 1, collecting the ghostly drawings. Another one of the most horrifying moments in this game comes to us in the boulder field. I think that's what it's called. It might not be called the boulder field, admittedly. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Here we have to face a ghost and try to defeat it. It's also like a haunted forest, FYI. Or at least you have to try to avoid the ghost while collecting all the creepy drawings. You gotta collect 8 in total. The ghost in and of itself, in addition to the forest where the drawings are hung up on the trees, it's terrifying. I don't know about you, but I constantly have the issue of running in circles as soon as the ghost shows up. It's like me playing DBD, aka Dead by Daylight, all over again. That's basically my status quo when it comes to playing DBD. I'm kind of always running. Very hard for me to get calm enough to be very good in that game. And apparently my status quo is also running in circles when it comes to this mission. When the ghost gets near to you, it will interfere with your vision, causing your sight to become all staticky. Also, once again, creepy sounds will likely cause you much distress if you are like me. Also, while safe in the haunted woods from Charles while you're doing this mission, which is a nice thing, if you are caught by the ghost, you aren't killed, but you are teleported outside the haunted woods, where Charles can easily come and gobble you up, so be aware of that. This minigame has also been compared to the indie horror game from 2012, Slender, where you also must collect 8 pages amidst a forest while avoiding the game's creepy antagonist, Slenderman. So yeah, if you like Slender, you'll probably like this minigame, and if you don't like Slender, woo, it's gonna be a little rough for you. Thanks for choosing to play this video and for making it to the end. Also, I'm sorry about that one. I'll see you next time, but until then, remember to keep on gaming on and kill it with fire. Pew pew!